Hello, this is an assessment of a Bosendorfer 191 centimetres long, that's about 6'3" long, grand piano that's made in 1928, just come into stock, and just assessing what kind of work we need to do on it. Now, it's got a mahogany case. The casework is a bit tired. You can see the crazing here. This is the bit you don't normally see because it's folded back, but it is crazed, and here we see the scratched on the piano. We can certainly improve the casework on here without repolishing it, or it could be repolished, so that's a decision to make really. Obviously repolishing, it takes about 70 hours, so it puts a lot on the price. It's had replacement key tops, and they've been very well done. They're a nice sort of off-white, and you wouldn't sort of think they weren't ivory until you look closely at them. And there's the name Bosendorfer, that can be polished up a bit too. The top of the fall on the piano here is not faded differently from the rest. There's a little blemish here. I'm sure we can improve that as well. So it's a question on the case is whether we just improve it or repolish it. It has some book holders put on here, which is very useful for musicians. Now, important parts, the mechanical side, of course, and the tuning pins are tight. My colleague's tuned it and says he really enjoys the piano, so that's good news. It has been restrung, so they're not the smallest of tuning pins, but there's certainly not any need to repin. Good quality strings. They're not original Bosendorfer strings. You can see the end of those are different. I'll show you some original Bosendorfer strings. Here's a Bosendorfer 170 that we have in stock, and you can see the distinctive Bosendorfer style of finishing off the ends of them, which is very effective, very beautiful strings. And you see the way that they look fatter here. They suddenly go fatter there, and then they are crimped off there. Typical Bosendorfer, very high tensile these strings, and produce a wonderful tone. Here's a Bosendorfer that's also in stock, 170 long, and this has been finished off and coned at the end, which is a very nice way of finishing them off. Bluteners are coned exactly like that. Bosendorfers are not. I think it's difficult for modern string makers to make the Bosendorfer style. Just one more look at these original Bosendorfer strings. It's delightful the way they finish them off. This is almost the same age of Bosendorfer, this 170. It's 1927. Now back to the one we're assessing. Mechanically it's in very good condition. It has been well restrung. Let's look at the soundboard 0 in, and we can see that it has had some drying out since it was restored. That's evidenced by this line on the soundboard here, which is very, very, very common on pianos of this age, and it indicates drying out. It doesn't alter the tone of the piano. Let's look underneath the piano as well. So underneath the piano, well, the soundboard's in very good condition. The ribs are fine, and they're what carries the sound. The planks, where you can see they have opened up slightly between the planks, that go in the opposite direction, but they're perfectly okay. If we fully restore a piano, we obviously shim the cracks in the soundboard as well, but it's not necessary to do that on this piano. A couple of marks. Apparently the seller of this piano told us that DCC is Devon County Council, and over here we see very clearly University of Plymouth. She bought it from the University of Plymouth originally. Interesting, it's got these different type of casters on too. They work perfectly all right. Obviously installed so the piano can be moved around, and but not the originals. I forgot to mention that the top lock plate here is also missing. Hopefully we can find something to replace that with. The piano's got a very solid, even tone. Good bass strings. Good break point there. And very pleasant. The touch is about 50 grams as I'm playing it, which is correct for this type of piano. And strong tone right up to the top. Now it's got good quality Renner hammers. I don't know if you can read that. It's Lewis, Renner, Stuttgart. It's a bit difficult to read probably on the video, but yeah, I can see it in the flesh, as it were. Now you can see the piano's been used a little bit, a reasonable amount actually. It's obviously been restored. Not used a huge amount. We can certainly reface these hammers rather than replace them. And they're good quality Renner hammers. The hinges here are slightly loose. So we would normally change hammers, shanks and rollers, as you've seen in other videos. This also, I would say, we ought to be changing this roller to bring it. Actually, the hammers are already regulated at the right height, but when we change the roller, we have to re-regulate. We could obviously change hammers, shacks and rollers on this piano too, but I think we will probably not do that. The whole piano, we could use the piano as a rental piano actually, or you could rent this piano from us if you wanted to. We do a 10-month rental where you can then choose to buy that piano or buy another piano, and it's a system which enables you to get into pianos, think about them, and decide what you'd like to do. These are a little bit loose, these hinges, so we would replace these pins. As I say, if we place hammers, shacks and rollers and this hinge, we don't need to bother about these pins because they'd be the right tightness. So a decision to make there, but the hammers are very good, so we might sort of lean towards keeping the hammers and just making the pins that are needing to be changed, just changing those, and possibly the rollers too. So that's an assessment of a Bosendorfer 191 centimetres long at 6'3", grand piano made in 1928, and it's a wonderfully made instrument. It's been well reconditioned, well restored, and then played quite a lot, but not enough for us to have to fully restore it again. So we've got to make some decisions on what to do. If you're interested in the piano, please let us know. We've got 2 other Bosendorfers to compare it with, and plenty of other grands. Got a beautiful Richard Lip grand as well to compare it with. So if you'd like to come and look at it, or if you have some more questions, just email us and talk to us about it. But I can really recommend the piano. Typical Bosendorfer sings beautifully. And has delicate touch and a lot of power as well. Thank you very much for listening.